Okay, slightly rainy day, but rain never stops play, not when you're inside a car. One of the joys of being an instructor is that you're usually in the dry. Got my engine switched off, so it's okay for me to touch electronic devices like the camera that's mounted at the front of the car. I checked with a police officer recently, and even if you're parked at the side of the road and once you come to a stop your car decides to switch the engine off by itself, in other words when you're in neutral and the clutch is up, it is okay then to use a mobile device like a telephone. So I'll start us up, put the wipers into auto mode by squeezing the right hand stalk control downwards. Hopefully the focus on the camera will adjust into the far distance rather than focusing unhelpfully on the raindrops. Checking all around me, nothing is coming towards me, so I'm not going to signal to move away, and I'm going to turn right at the roundabout and go all the way around the roundabout. So I'm putting on a right signal, hugging the centre of the roundabout as I go round. I know my wipers are in auto mode because in this car, Peugeot 208, there's a little windscreen symbol in green on the tachometer, the rev counter, the big left hand of the two large dials on my instrument cluster, and it says auto above it as well. If I want to go into manual mode, I'll just squeeze that right hand stalk down another click and I'll get a confirmatory message to say we're back in manual mode. So entering a large, broad, busy road of 2 lanes, multiple buses ahead. The one closest to us is signalling to move away, so I might as well stay in this lane at the moment. Clutch all the way down. I think he's struggling to get out because there's a bus close in front of him. And I've got traffic coming up in both lanes behind, so I might as well stay put. The bus is now repositioning to stay in this lane. They are pretty wide and they are filling the whole of the lane. He's signalling again to come out to the right, but I've still got traffic coming through in lane number 2 on my right hand side, so I won't bother trying to change lanes. He's started moving now anyway. I think it was that delivery vehicle that's caused him to have to move out slightly, since the delivery vehicle isn't quite in the bay and the wind is blowing around some of those shutter blinds at the back of the delivery vehicle. Quite a few speed tables on this road with the pedestrian crossings, just to try and calm the traffic down because you have got shops either side, lots of pedestrian movements. Checking the centre mirror as soon as I identify the pedestrian crossing lights changing, slowing the car when it starts to grumble, clutch down, letting my vehicle roll right up to where the stop line cuts through the door mirrors. Handbrake on because I don't want anybody behind to shove me into any pedestrians that might be in the road in front. Sitting with the car in gear and the clutch down, right hand on the steering wheel, looking at the lights. You usually get a repeater light that is further away than your stop line, just in case you have difficulty seeing the one that's close to you. Pulling away nice and slowly so those 2 guys have got time to clear out the road. I don't get closer than 10 feet or a couple of car lengths away from them. Mini on the right is turning right, so there's no point in me trying to get into that lane at the moment. Now that that car has gone, I was considering going out to lane 2, but we've got another white Audi down there, a taxi, turning right and partly blocking the lane. I'm anticipating that the buses probably will want to stop again soon, so I check my right mirror and I move gently across to lane number 2 so that I'm now alongside the car in lane 1, and as soon as the lights change I've got a clear stretch of road in front of me, even if that pair of buses do stop. When you've got one bus making its progress down the road, you may well find that it stops at every other stop or so, unless there's loads and loads of people waiting, in which case it's stopping at every stop. But if you've got 2 buses, then you could well have at least one of them wanting to stop, and the one behind is quite inconvenienced, may need to try and change lanes. So nothing wrong at staying in this lane, especially now I've seen that indicator on the bus, and still got brake signals on the lead bus there. Covering the brakes, I might have pedestrians coming out between the 2 cars. Car behind me has come out very close behind. Checking my centre of my left mirror, moving back into lane 1, letting the speed gently build. Checking my right mirror to see exactly how he's coming past. He was getting right up to 30, I'm doing about 26 now. He's come back into lane 1. I could move out into lane 2 again, but we've got other cars turning to the right. So I check my centre mirror and slow down into gear 1 in the final car length, keeping my car rolling as much as possible, and then building up speed again delay of going onto the handbrake. So planning ahead at all times is good for keeping your fuel efficiency as high as possible, such as here. Traffic signals again on red, they're now changing to flashing amber, so I know it's a pelican crossing. Quick glance either side, make sure nobody's looking to cross. Volvo behind is a reasonable distance behind. And at this next roundabout, which is very tight but has 2 lanes consistently all the way around, I'm going to go left, do my usual MSPSL routine, mirrors, signal, down into gear 2, keeping it within my lane, manually reapplying the signal if it looks like cancelling, and I'm going to take this first road on the right, so I check behind, make sure it's safe to slow, check the right mirror, down into gear 1, seeing if this grey car coming towards me is going to leave a space with the yellow box junction, which it is, so raising my fingers off the wheel just to say thank you, curving all the way around through 180 degrees and parking up by what you may have identified on the left as the test centre in one of the 2 parking bays, and bringing the car to a gentle stop. Secure the car into neutral and switch off the engine.